Hey, it's Petra, and I am here in my apothecary getting ready to make some medicine. And in honor of the first day of Aries season, I am working with hawthorn. I'm going to make a hawthorn berry tincture. And I'm thinking about how much Mars is a healer. And we don't really think of Mars like that. You very rarely hear Mars described as a healer. You hear Mars described as a warrior. That's, the god of war. Literally. Right? And we think of Mars energy as fire and pushing out and breaking through, and which it is, all of those things. But we just automatically associate that with fighting, and we automatically associate willpower and power with war and conflict and competition. But Mars and those actions that I just described that we associate with Mars are also really commonly used healers, medicine. Some of the most primary medicine is Mars energy. It is heat. It is action. It is an increase in movement. Think about, the body's own internal medicine. The body's primary response to illness or injury is to increase in heat. It's to create heat, a rush of heat, right? You injure yourself, your body sends inflammation and swelling. That's what swelling is, right? It's a rush of blood so that your body can respond to whatever just happened. Same with getting sick. What happens when you get sick? You get a fever. That's your body raising its temperature to try to kill off what is, the invading entities, whatever they are. Like, that's your body's working with Mars energy to protect itself, to heal itself. And, some of the most basic ways that we have to heal ourselves as well externally are also working with Mars. It's, a warm blanket, like when, making sure someone's warm. That's like, if someone has a fever, like you cover them in blankets and you don't want them to get cold, right? You want to increase the heat. And then think about all the different technologies for healing, like that involve heat, saunas and sweats and hot baths and hot teas, and that's all using the power of Mars to heal. And a lot of medicine that's very primary, a lot of plants that are very primary medicine are Mars plants, like ginger, or hot peppers or garlic. Those are all plants that work with Mars energy, and they're really common really easy to access, really safe. Worldwide, used as healing, as medicine. Why don't we call Mars the healer? Right? I mean, that's a rhetorical question, but, you know, we exalt the war side of Mars, and the healer side is obscured, even though it's everywhere, even though it's totally primary in how we go about healing on a day, that's just how our body does it. So, you know, it's just, whether we call it that or not, it's still that. Like, we're still working with, you still work with Mars energy to be anytime, I'm not gonna say anytime you heal, but we're still working with Mars energy, whether we call it that or not, whether we call Mars a healer. And you know, it makes me think too about Aries. Aries is associated with Mars. It's associated with that principle of creating heat, pushing, you know, the pushing out into new territory, that birthing, breaking through, all of that. And again, most people, you know, Aries always gets a hard time for being loud and taking up space and you know, not giving a fuck, right? Like, all these things that were like, oh, war, like, oh, warrior, that's the warrior. And yes, it is all those things, and it is all the shadow sides of those things. But Aries is also one of the most gentle signs. It's one of the most, like, tender and innocent, really. Like, that's not gonna work. Because it's like this time right now in the spring when everything all the plants are pushing their leaves out, and it has to have all this courage and all this bravery and force and pushing action, right? But they're also very, very tender still. Like, they're really in their very initial stages, and that when you first push something out is when it's still very vulnerable, right? So that is a duality within Aries energy, and that it's part of what makes it such a good healer, or such, you know, the heat. It's like when you have a muscle cramp or you have something that's stiff or sore, putting heat on it allows it to relax, right? And why? Because it creates more space. It opens things up. That's what heat does when you sweat. It releases things that are in your blood. It opens things up. So yeah, what is Mars energy really, if we're not going to call it a warrior, right? Or if we're not going to call, if it's not one of those things, if it's both a warrior and a healer. I've just been thinking about that, like if it's that duality of the warrior and the healer, you know, or it's on a certain axis of that duality. Is this what I want to put in here? I think it is. What is the actual quality if it's not war, right? That's what I'm trying to say. What is the actual quality of Mars? It is just pushing. It is pushing. It is how we push. It's how things are externalized, how things go from being on the inside to being on the outside. I think that's good. I think I'm going to make this an elixir. Add a little sweetness. Just topping this off with honey. So that pushing action that's happening right now in Aries season, that is the springtime, that is the first movements that are being made in that creation cycle, that first pushing out time, the birthing of the creation cycle, the head first time of when the seeds are coming out and the plants are, and the light is coming back, right? That time right now, that Aries pushing, that Mars pushing action I'm talking about is exactly what this hawthorn berry does in the heart. It the action that it has in the cardiovascular system is that it pushes open ever so slightly, dilates, pushes open space within the vascular system. So it gives just a little bit more room in all of your veins, just ever so slight dilating of the cardiovascular system, which the effect that has is your heart doesn't have to work as hard to do its job. There's more space. There's literally more room for your blood to flow. So this can have a lot of different effects depending on the person, but a great effect is that it literally instantly takes a weight off of the heart. Damn it, all wrong side. Okay, here we go. Yeah, I've experienced it with this tincture that it will instantly take a pressure off the heart, instantly make it so the heart can feel easier. Oh, for Pete's sake, come on. And one of the long-term effects of working with this plant, and that effect of having that pushing action within the cardiovascular system, is that over time, your heart actually is able to recover itself. Like, it's actually able to repair itself. Like, it strengthens, the heart itself is able to actually get a break. And because the heart is already doing that, right? It's already harnessing a lot of Mars power. It's what creates the heat in your body. It's what creates the power. It pushes. That is what the heart muscle does, right? And so this is like it feels like having like a heart in your heart. like it is helping it does the same action that the heart already does. I don't know if that makes any sense, but yeah, it's kind of like an ally to the heart. Like it works in the same direction. The heart is pushing out. It creates space. It creates power. It creates heat for the body. So this helps the heart do that. And I love it because it can be worked with, just in the moment. You can just take it when the heart feels tight or pressure, or when you're working with grief or anger or just heart issues. Like, you can feel an effect in the moment, and you can also work with this for years at a time, and it can create long-term changes in your actual heart itself. It can work with you for long periods of time and really assist in like massive changes in the heart. So yeah, Mars is a healer, and it is that pushing action that makes it a warrior that also makes it a healer. And yeah, cheers to Aries season. Cheers to all my fellow Aries out there, and all of us, the spark, the fire, the heat inside every one of us, inside of everyone's heart. Everyone who has a beating heart has that fiery energy in them, right? We all have Aries somewhere in our chart. We're all 12 of the signs, all of us. So cheers to the Aries energy, and cheers to the way that we use it as medicine, the way that we use it to heal. And yeah, enjoy your Aries season.